Welcome back to another episode of the Pink Popcorn Podcast. We are excited to be here.
Very.
Very excited. This week we're talking still about Gilmore Girls. We're still in season one. We're talking about episodes 14, 15, and 16. And they're good episodes. Yeah.
They're not
Excited
my
to be.
favorite. They're not
Yeah.
my favorite, but they're still good. I mean, all of Gilmore Girls is so good. But they're
They're
kind of
kind
just
of,
like,
they kind of melt together. What is the word I'm trying to think of?
yeah,
Blend
blend
together a little
together
bit.
because it's just
And
middle
I
of
will
the
say
season.
episode 16 is one of not one of my favorites, but it's a good episode. It's a cozy episode. I don't know. It's the Firelight
Yes.
Festival, so it's good.
That's, oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah, it's good. So we'll start off, I guess, with episode 14. I guess we'll start with 14. We won't
I
start in
guess.
a different order. Okay. So this episode is called That Damn Donna Reed, and what's happening is that Lorelai and Rory are watching an episode of the Donna Reed show. Dean comes in. He, is trying to figure out what it is. They explain that kind of it's a show from the 50s and it's basically is the right
Yeah,
word?
I guess. Yeah.
Of a lot of women in the 50s who, were stay-at-home moms or like wives, like housewives who had to make all the meals and be perfect, look perfect and do all of the stuff. And anyway, so they're talking about that, and Dean, he kind of makes a comment that he kind of likes if like his mom, would make meals for his family, and so they it causes an argument with that, so that you'll see throughout the episode. And then on the
Yeah.
other side, Lorelai and Luke are picking out paint samples for Luke's diner. So that's what's happening in this episode. So it's good.
Yes. So the beginning, it starts out with them watching the show and they're kind of making fun of it, of course.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
but you had looked up the show because I had never seen the Donna Reed show.
yes. So I watched the first episode and half of the second episode. I actually do like it. They talk very fast in it, which reminds me of Gilmore Girls. So I'm like, oh, I feel like this is maybe an inspiration in that way. But I did learn because I'm like, have this way of talking that is, I guess it's what is it, Mid-Atlantic accent? Is that what it is?
Oh yeah.
Mid-Atlantic?
Yes.
That's
Where it's
that was more
like
calm.
kind
I
of
can't even,
almost not quite
I
British.
always,
Yeah, do it
well,
for us.
I don't know if I can do it, but every time I try to do it, it reminds me of an episode of Parks and Rec where April and Andy
Oh,
are going out, and
and
April kind
April,
of has that. She's
she
like, well,
does
it
her
really does, and
character.
da-da-da-da. I can't even. What was her character's? I can't even
Yes.
remember. Snake Hole, something Snake Hole. Anyway,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And she
Anyway,
has the like little veil thing and her cigarette
yes,
with the
and
thing.
I,
Yes,
yeah,
it does have
that's
that
what it
feel with the
reminds me of.
accent.
Apparently, it was more common with actors to do that around that time, because especially with stage acting, because
Okay.
they don't have as many like special effects. They more of it was just dialogue focused because there just wasn't a lot to do outside of that, I guess, as much as we
Yeah,
have
that makes
now.
sense. Yeah,
And
because now you have
so,
so much on the production side and to
yes,
add to
they
it.
sounded like they were talking really fast, and just the dialogue was just quick, and yeah, like quick-witted stuff, and that is the
Yes.
feeling of the Donna Reed show. It reminds me
Okay.
also of The Sound of Music. There's a little bit of
The accent.
that accent, and in the
Yes.
original what's it, the original Parent Trap movie,
Yes.
which
The
the
old
original was
one.
from the old one from like 1961. It's not
Okay.
the
It's not the
um
90s one, not
yeah.
the one with Lindsay
Why
Lohan.
can't I? Lindsay Lohan, yeah. Which we love that
Yeah.
one. It's so good. But we kind of grew up on the old one. And so the Lindsay Lohan one was the new one. And
Do
so,
you remember there was a second? like a Parent Trap
Yes,
2.
Parent Trap too, but it was the same. It was like a few years
It was
after the
Haley.
first.
Yes, and it was Haley Mills, but she was an adult, the one who
Yeah.
played the twins.
Yeah.
And then it was like her niece or something. I forget the story, but I
I don't
remember
remember the
watching.
story, but I do remember that, yeah, there was a second one. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
it
good.
was
But that
good.
accent is fun and it's fun to do.
Okay.
It's really, I can't do it.
Ah,
I should have
yes.
just touched up on it and practiced
Oh,
before.
and Audrey Hepburn kind of does that. She has that
Oh,
accent, doesn't she?
yeah,
In her movies, like Breakfast at Tiffany's, and she has the little
there's a
cigarette
little bit.
holder.
It's a thing. It's a vibe. The
It's
show.
a vibe.
Anyway, but yeah, so it was fun watching it, and I actually would recommend it. It's a cute show, and the first season is on Peacock if you want to watch it. Also, I think Tubi, that
Oh,
network
yeah.
is free, and they have like
Yeah.
5 seasons because there are 8 seasons, and some of the seasons have like 30 plus episodes. It's a lot of
Jeez.
episodes. Yeah. Anyway, so they're watching this,
Hmm.
and Dean, yeah, kind of argues, he's like, well, my
Which
mom always made, which
yeah, I
what?
like when my mom makes dinner. I think it's kind of nice, the idea of a mom making dinner at, and for her family and
Her
everyone.
family.
Like, good for Dean for saying it, because that would be intimidating or you might be afraid of offending Lorelai because she's obviously
Right.
not that.
It's bold of
But
Dean.
yeah,
However,
like it's okay. But
it's a
then,
sweet,
yeah,
naive point of view. Like,
yeah, it's
for
a
sure.
little naive because he's like, oh, the naive thing that he says is a little bit later, him and Rory get into more of an argument about it.
Yeah.
And he says, well, some women might like to do that. What if they like to cook and look nice for their family? And I'm like,
Yes, that's what it.
nobody likes that
Women
because
don't.
I am a stay-at-home mom and I don't like cooking.
Yeah.
But I
But
know
it's
what he's
nice because
saying.
your
Like
husband does help. I feel like
he
you guys
helps.
share the responsibilities, and that's good. It's a good
Yes.
example for
That
your boys, because
yes. They need
so then
that
they
to
won't like
know.
expect that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
I don't want them
I mean,
expecting a wife that like looks perfect and always has a perfectly clean house with a meal on the table.
no.
No, we joke, my husband and I joke about it that or it was mom that said this one day because I said, "Oh yeah, Matt does the laundry and he cooks and he does the dishes more than I do and all this stuff." And she's like, "So what are you bringing to the table?" Like
What do you even do?
yeah, he's working into it. Yeah, but it was
But
funny. There's
but
still a
it's
lot to do
okay.
with
Yeah,
4 kids.
there is. And like taking them around, and they're kind of spread out. Your kids are, so they're just at different stages. There are just different needs, and
Exactly.
so
All the different stages right now. So,
so
so it's sweet that Dean thinks that. It's a little naive, but it's okay to have the different point of view. And so they kind of have an argument about it because he says, "Oh, well, you only think that way, that
because
women
you're
shouldn't do that because your mom thinks that." And so then, which actually, it's not true. Like Rory, and he didn't even really mean it when he said that. But Rory, I like her in the argument too because she cares. Like, she gets kind of passionate about it. She's like, it's not that she couldn't, be that cook and clean, but it represented a generation, like a whole generation of women who didn't have a choice and they had to do that. And I think
yeah.
I'm like impressed that she cares so much because I never got so
Yes.
passionate about that stuff like when I was that
When we
age.
were, yeah, we didn't care. We were
Well,
like,
we
whatever.
were just boy crazy and I just didn't care about like studying up and reading about history and I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like it's believable that Rory, because she's someone who studies a lot and reads a lot, and she's
Yeah.
more level-headed than a lot of teenage girls. And so
Yeah.
anyway,
Which,
I like her in that.
yeah. Yes, it's good. Okay. Yeah, so they get into an argument. Also, in this episode, Rory is taking care of two animals, which we learned a couple episodes ago. Rory and Lorelai are not animal people, so I don't know what with the
Yeah,
hamster
which
story.
oh yeah.
We
Oh
didn't
yeah,
talk
there's
about
a
this. There's a
hamster
couple
story.
episodes ago, there's a scene where Rory and Lorelai are looking at these dogs that people are like
They're
adopting.
selling puppies, or yeah, adopting puppies in the square, right?
And they talk about their old hamster that Lorelai just thought was evil and then would just stick tissues in. And then she took
The
it to the
cage.
pet store and just left it. And it was so funny because it
She
made
said it was evil.
it said it was
It
evil,
was.
but we had hamsters,
We
like
had a hamster like
multiple.
that,
Well,
and
we
our
had an
evil
albino
hamster had a
hamster.
reason. The red eyes.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Also, okay, our mean hamster had a reason for being mean. It was traumatized. Remember?
No,
Okay.
we didn't. I don't remember the hamster being mean. I was just afraid of the
Yes.
albino hamster. The other hamster, I don't remember it being
No.
mean. I just
The
remember it.
hamster that survived the attack.
There was, so we
It
had
turned
the albino
out mean.
hamster was
Okay.
separate from this. The albino hamster had red eyes, was scary. That was just one hamster. Then there was another
Okay.
time where we had two hamsters, Fatty Patati and Skinny Patini. Those were their names.
Fatty
Sorry.
Patati and Skinny Patootie, but I thought it was Fatty Patati and Cutie Patootie, but whatever.
No,
I
Skinny
remember.
Patini. Cutie
Okay.
Patootie,
I
I think, was where we got the idea. Because Cutie
Oh
Patootie is like a
yeah.
common thing.
I remember Rosie O'Donnell would say it. Cutie
Cutie
Patootie. Oh,
Patootie.
you're a cutie patootie. But yes, so we we named our hamsters. It was me, you, and our youngest brother Zach. The older
Mm-hmm.
ones didn't care. I mean, anyway. And we had Fatty Patati and Skinny Patootie. Okay, and there was this time I was probably 10 and you were 8, right?
Something like that, yeah. Because our dad was
It was
still
around
alive.
there.
And
Yes.
yeah.
And
So
okay, we had a sleepover one night with our friends. And so we all were in the room playing, just running around, and we showed them the hamsters and we played and then ran off and played something else. Okay, at this time, we had a dog named Toby that we were dog sitting for a few months because it was our friend's dog that they were in an apartment and had to, so we had their dog at our
yes.
house. Toby.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Toby.
we didn't realize we left the cage open, ran off playing, just not caring at all. So I came back in our bedroom and stepped on something squishy. And then I noticed that the hamster cage was empty, like we had left it on the floor.
We
And
also were not animal people. We were the worst.
we were. Oh my gosh, the worst. Also, we have dog stories. We never kept a dog very long. But anyway, so the hamsters were gone. I stepped on something squishy and I looked at it under my sock and it was like a little squished up ball of fur and it made me nervous, but I just didn't say anything. I was like, "Oh no, what if that's part of the hamster but it's too small, so maybe it's not." So then I just ran off and got distracted and we were just running around playing. A little bit later, we all went back in our bedroom. We were playing school or library or something, like where we're sitting right on our desk, and our two friends were with us. And all of a sudden, Caitlin, one of our friends, starts screaming and, and
She was like,
pointing at at my tall blue dresser. And we all
mhm.
look over. I am sorry. We saw
This is
Fatty
graphic.
Patati. I know, just a warning. This is a little big. Fatty Patati, the fat hamster, was on top of the dresser, alive, but only his top half, okay, was there. And the rest, it was like, I'm sorry, it was just like a cord, the
A
rest of it,
bloody
like his
cord.
spine.
It
Yeah.
was,
And he was going like this,
and just
like
looking.
creepy. Yeah, just like big eyes looking and alive. And we're just like, start screaming and run out of the room and
Yep.
screaming and crying. And we tell our mom and dad. Dad went and got it. He weirdly had a bread bag. I don't know. He just probably
I
grabbed
know,
something.
yeah, it was a bread bag, like an empty, maybe that was all.
Yeah, just an empty bread bag. Went over, put the hamster in it, and took it outside and ran it over with the car to put it
To
out
put
of
it
its
out of its
misery.
misery. It was
Yes.
so sad.
Oh my gosh. And
It
so
was horrible.
so horrible and traumatizing. So then, I mean, yeah, it was just awful. We cried for a while but then we kind of played and it was okay. And then Skinny Patini was missing for like a few days. And we thought
Yes.
maybe it died too. Like, and then, oh, and by the way, we told the family that owned the dog. And they're like, oh, he was probably just playing.
Yeah. Probably,
Which
honestly.
he
Probably
probably
didn't
was.
even
Like
realize. It's
he
like,
wasn't,
oh.
yeah, he was just like, oh, there's something moving. So a few days later, we found Skinny Patini like in the shower,
Yeah. I don't
drinking
know
the
how.
water.
Just
He survived.
surviving.
Yes. And then, so after that, Skinny Patini was so mean and would bite you when you tried to hold her. And she was
Oh,
just,
I don't even remember the biting after.
yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is, so
Trauma.
I kind of understood Lorelai. I was like, oh, I get that. When
Yeah.
you have a mean hamster, you don't really want to take care of it. So that's our hamster
Yeah.
story. That was a very long
What's
tangent. I'm
crazy
sorry.
is I feel like I have multiple friends who have stories of just like traumatic stories with animals growing up. So many people have these stories. So, yeah,
Hmm.
if you
Hmm.
have one, let us know because
Yes,
it seems to be a common thing. But
I know.
okay, so yeah, so this episode, Rory is taking care of a chick for her
Hmm.
class, and this chick is like she has to keep it for a month, which seems like a very long time.
That is way too long.
She's
Okay,
also
they name it
cat oh, she's also cat sitting for
Babette.
Babette and Maury.
Mhm.
So that's what's going on here. But yeah, you were gonna say about
Oh,
the
so
chick.
Lorelai names the chick Stella, which she yells because she gets home and the chick is missing,
Hmm.
and she yells Stella, which I knew that was from a movie or something, and I just didn't know what because I also have seen it in an episode of Modern Family with Cam is looking. I think Cam loses Jay's dog, and her name is Stella, and it's all dramatic. Stella! Like, and so I looked up what that was from. It's from A Streetcar Named Desire. Hold on. I have it here. And was it a book or just a movie?
I honestly have no idea. I have never heard of it until this episode when you told me.
Okay, here it is. In Tennessee, oh, it was a play and a movie. In
Hmm.
Tennessee Williams' play and the 1951 film adaptation of A Streetcar Named Desire, Stanley Kowalski, played by Marlon Brando, yells Stella in a famous scene. This iconic moment where Stanley screams for his wife after a heated argument has been widely referenced and parodied in other media, clearly. So,
Clearly.
anyway, that's what it's
So that's what
from.
that's
There
from.
are, mhm. But it's cute. She names her Stella. And
Yeah.
then she, oh, sorry, back to the cat. So Rory's also cat sitting and house sitting for one night for Babette. So do we want to talk about that first or Lorelai and Luke?
Um, we can talk about Lorelai and Luke for a little bit. So,
Okay.
because they're picking out paint samples, which, by the way, Taylor at the beginning is trying to get Luke to paint the diner. And one of
Yeah.
the quotes that I love in this scene, because he's like talking about the town beautification committee needing him to update things, and he goes, he goes, when standards slip, families flee. And I just think that's such a
I know.
Taylor
And
line. He's
it
so
is. And he's
serious.
so serious. And the town beautification committee is probably just him. We
Yep.
love Taylor. And he says
Oh,
after that, he says, when standards slip, families flee. And then in comes the seedy
oh
crowd.
yeah.
I
It's so
love him.
funny.
He's so
So
great.
Lorelai convinces Luke to paint the place. They decide that they're gonna pick out paint samples. So
Mhm.
Lorelai goes over that night
And they have some
and
moments.
they do
I think they have
share
a
some
couple
eye
moments of like,
contact.
yes, it's very exciting. Well, then,
Yeah.
but she pulls away.
Yes.
Well, and they have some good bonding too, not just the eye contact. Like he tells her about when his dad owned the diner, but it was a hardware store at that time.
Yeah.
And he took an order on the side of the counter. He's like, it's still here. And she's so sweet. She's like, well, we won't spruce this particular spot where the
Yes.
order from his dad is. So
Yeah.
that's really sweet. And then yeah, they like gaze into each other's eyes, and I feel like something could happen, but she pulls away.
Yeah.
But we
But
think she's still kind of hung up on Max, right?
yes, and I think she's not fully ready to like go for Luke, even though I think there's attraction there. I think there's a lot on the line there too, so that's why.
Yes, because it's
Because
Luke and they're such good friends and they go there every day and all that. So
yeah.
she's a little
So,
nervous.
but it's
But they
sweet.
were just together. And then when she gets back, that's the moment where she's like, Stella! She calls Luke to come help her find the chick,
Yeah.
and which is so fun. The
Yeah.
lampshade. So he comes over to help.
And she pulls him in. Like he like comes in, she
She's
pulls him in
totally
such a
flirty.
flirty way. Like she's like,
Yeah.
get in here, like pulling him
Yes.
into her. And I'm like, that is
Which,
major flirting.
yeah. But to be fair, when you're single, you kind of can do that and it's fun. And
Yeah, it's true.
so while
Anyway.
they're looking for the chick, we have Babette's house with Rory.
Hmm.
She's trying to make up with Dean because of the fight. And it's really
Yeah.
sweet. So you talk about that.
Yeah, so she does some research on Donna Reed. She finds out that Donna Reed was a producer on the show. So she sees a little bit more of like, oh, she wasn't just like controlled and had to like, I don't know, like
Yeah,
had to
she
do
wasn't just.
whatever the men said. I don't know.
Mhm.
And so she gets this idea to make Dean dinner, dress up, like go fully into it, and it's super cute. So she goes over, she's like getting everything ready. She calls his house to try to like invite him over or whatever. But then she goes over to Lane's to get a CD, and this we see Lane's CD collection,
Yes,
and we see
this
her
is a big
floorboard
deal.
system
Mhm.
because she hides all her stuff from her mom under her
Yeah,
floorboards.
anything worldly, like her music
Yes,
and her what else?
whatever.
Yeah, anything that her mom would disapprove of.
Yeah.
But she's so into music, that's a big part of her life. So her CD collection is, and it was 2002 at this time, so we all
Yeah,
had
you
CDs
have
back then.
to CDs. Good times.
But
Anyway,
it's an impressive collection.
it is. It's good. So Rory comes over, borrows the CD, goes back, and then Dean comes over and she's like all dressed up.
He just goes with
No,
it.
and he's excited about it. And so he goes in, he's a little, I think, skeptical because of their fight. And she's
Yeah.
like kind of creepy. He's like, what are we doing? And she's like, I made you dinner. And it's so cute. Like she made him like steak and potatoes and whatever, like a full meal. The
Hmm.
thing that bothers me though about this is at the end of dinner, she shows him that they have dessert and it looks so good. The green
The
jello
Jello.
and whipped cream. It's like simple but so cute. And then he goes to take the trash out. And at this point, Luke comes out of their house with the broken lamp. And
Mhm.
so he's taking that out. And so they're like awkwardly in there. And then Lorelai and Rory both come
Come
out.
out.
And there's this like awkward interaction. And both Luke and Dean leave because it's awkward and
Yes.
uncomfortable. But in my mind, I'm like, why is Dean leaving? They didn't have dessert
I
yet.
know.
Like, and
Yes,
it's
they
not
don't get to
like,
eat
is
the
she getting in
Jello.
trouble? Like, I know it was awkward, but I think it's fine that he's hanging out there. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, Rory was, or Lorelai is not mad, but it does kind of look weird. Like she's dressed up and they're at their
That's
lawn.
true.
And so Dean is just nervous. I like when he's like fumbling over,
Yeah.
oh, we were just, and,
Yeah.
and so he's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So I get
So
that.
I
But
get that. But in my mind, I'm like, hopefully he came back for dessert because
for the dessert, the
it's
Jello.
important. Can't leave that
Yes,
uneaten. Silly.
exactly.
Our lives revolve around food, obviously.
Clearly. My chocolate
But what? Oh, your chocolate. Oh
caramel
yeah,
or
it's good.
I don't know. It's just
My
random, but I needed
little honey
chocolate.
wrappers.
Yes, that was the
Anyway,
best. Okay.
but yeah. So then, like, this episode ends with a Friday night dinner scene. Well, does it? It doesn't
Oh,
end. Yeah, it doesn't end with a Friday night dinner scene, but there is
toward the
a
end.
toward the end a good Friday night dinner scene with some good quotes, good stuff.
Okay, yes. Let's say the quotes we liked.
So they're at Friday night dinner. Lorelai and Rory both casually, accidentally bring up the incidents with the chick and with the
Luke.
dress, the apron, and with Luke coming over. So of course Emily is like, "Why was Luke there?" Everybody acts like this is a huge deal that Luke was at their house. I get that it's like supposed to make it seem like everybody's seeing Luke and Lorelai kind of like each other, or
There's
maybe Lorelai has interest. But Luke is such a helper, you know? He just seems like someone who it wouldn't be weird for him to come help look for the chick.
yes,
But maybe it is
exactly.
weird. I don't know. Emily, though, thinks it's very weird and it's a big deal.
She
And
pounces on it.
yeah, she's like, "Well, I just want to know, do you have feelings for this man?" So serious. And Lorelai's like, I don't know, maybe I do. And she goes, "Thank you for being
Yeah.
honest with me. Now we can discuss what on earth you could possibly be thinking."
Such
It's
a
so
good
funny.
Emily line.
Hmm.
Yes, it's so
Yes,
Emily. I
so
love it.
Emily. But also in
And
this scene is
yeah,
the
what else
Arthur
happened?
Roundtree discussion. So the Emily and Richard also are talking about Martha's Vineyard, getting a new place on
Getting
Martha's
a
Vineyard
place.
because they lost their place before they didn't get it in time or something. So they're going to buy a place because Arthur Roundtree died and they are going to snatch his place up. And they're like all excited talking about it. And Lorelai's just watching them just completely not care about some person who died. She's like, "You guys are," what does she say? She goes, "The both of you are going directly to hell. I hope you know that." And then Richard goes, "Well, at least we'll be well rested."
Yes,
And
that's a
yeah,
good.
and it's just a funny thing. And they're just
And
like
then he laughs.
laughing. And
Yeah,
she makes a joke and they're like, "Lorelai, this is morbid." She's
yeah.
like, "I'm
It's
morbid."
like, but that's how they are. They can
So,
say whatever, but if she says something, it's like, oh, yeah,
how could
that's
you?
cute. And
Yeah.
then they say, you guys could come up for a weekend and to Martha's Vineyard if they
Yeah.
get the place. Rory goes, oh, Mom, could we go? And Lorelai says, we'll see how much Valium Auntie Suki can lend Mommy, okay? I love that.
Yeah.
Then we could
But
go.
yeah. So it's a good episode. That it ends though, this episode ends with Christopher showing up, which leads us into our next
Yes.
episode. So this episode, yeah, so he shows up on his motorcycle. Just something that I want to comment on is Lorelai and Rory are walking. She sees this guy on a motorcycle and she goes, "That's this whatever Indian motorcycle." It's like she knows the exact make and model of this
Yeah.
motorcycle, which totally Lorelai's vibe, obviously. Like never before has she
No.
mentioned
Why is
motorcycles
she?
except yeah, like
Yeah,
she
suddenly
the
she knows all
only
the
reason she
motorcycles.
knows that motorcycle is because she and Christopher dated and he was obsessed with that motorcycle. That is the only reason.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you do. You date guys or girls or whoever you date and you
You
learn
kind of
a little
learn
bit
what,
about their interests and then you act like
yes.
you know all this stuff about what they know, but you don't even know that much. You just know a
You
little
only know
bit.
it. Oh, yes, I did that with football because I never cared about football until I dated Matt. And he basically taught me football, like the rules and
Yeah.
all the things. And so then after that, I'm like, oh, I know football. At the games, some of the
Yeah.
other wives and moms would like not be paying attention, and I'm like paying attention, and I know what a first down is and all of things. Only
That is
because he
amazing.
likes it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you
that's
do
better. Like
kind
my high
of.
school boyfriend would always try to teach me football and I just would zone out. I'm like, I can't do it. But then in college I played intramural football and so I learned a little bit more. And so
Yes.
I played flag
But it's
football, I
true.
guess. It wasn't tackle,
Oh,
but
that's fun. But
anyway.
yeah,
But
it's true
yes,
that you kind of
there are
just you
things.
know those things because the guy you dated knew
Yes.
that.
And so that is totally why in my mind. So Christopher shows
Yeah.
up and that is where we end with this
That's where we
episode.
end. Oh, and we had real quick, there was a glimpse of the town troubadour in this episode.
Yes.
I think that's the first time we see him, right?
I think so. Yeah. As
Okay, because I
far
never
as I
knew
can
what this
remember.
was, but and he calls himself the town troubadour later. It's such
Hmm.
a vibe and I love it. I
Hmm.
looked up what it is, what a troubadour is. It's a French medieval lyric poet composing and singing in Provençal in the 11th to 13th centuries, especially on the theme of courtly love.
Oh, and that's so fitting for Stars Hollow
It
and like
is.
the
Yeah.
parts that he's in. So
Yes.
yeah, this is a
Yeah.
good episode.
What do you rate
Okay.
this episode?
I would rate this episode maybe like a 7.5. Like it's
Okay.
a decent episode. I like it. It's cute. It just doesn't feel like a whole, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
not that exciting. It's fine.
it's not that exciting. And for some reason it wasn't one of my favorites. So I would say 6.5. But
Okay.
okay.
That sounds good. Okay. So now moving on to episode 15.
Yes, episode 15 is called Christopher Returns. So, Christopher is Rory's father. We get to meet him. He comes to Stars Hollow to visit, and so it's just kind of a different episode. He's here the whole
Yeah.
episode. And you see the dynamic between him and Lorelai. They get along really well. She gets nostalgic with him. And then you see
Yes.
Rory with her dad. She's she kind of seems more like a little kid. Like you see that childlike,
Yes.
oh, adoration for the
For her
parent,
dad.
even
Yeah.
though he's made mistakes and he's not been there, but she just loves him and it's really sweet. They have a good relationship. You
Yeah.
find out they usually talk on the phone like once a week, but he doesn't really come around that much.
Yes. We find out this is apparently his first time in Stars Hollow, which seems kind of insane. Like,
Yeah.
he
Not that
was
believable,
really,
really.
because Christopher, it's like he's this nice guy, but he just kind of sucks a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
he's just, you see that he just hasn't been able to grow up and like take
yes,
responsibility for things.
exactly.
So
But it
it's
makes
like he's
sense.
likable though. But
He's
yeah.
still likable, he's kind, he cares and all that, but he can't
Yeah,
grow
he's not
up.
great. Even in the first scene, you kind of see like he comes down out of the shower while like he's like, "Oh, the water pressure is terrible. I'm gonna fix that in the morning." And you just know like he's not gonna fix that. Like he doesn't know how to
Yeah,
fix that. But he wants to be the type of person that
who
fixes that.
does? Yes, he
Who does that?
wants to. And Lorelai knows that about him. She knows like he wants to be that. He just hasn't
Yes.
figured out how to be the responsible.
Okay.
I have a little sinus infection, a little cold.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
but the good thing is Lorelai always believes in him. Like she knows he can and she sees
Yeah.
the good in him and stuff. So Rory shows him around Stars Hollow, and we also have a Friday night dinner that he goes with them because Emily and Richard
Yes.
love him for some reason, or they kind of pretend to.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
So,
They like him.
yeah.
So that's kind of what happens in the episode.
Yeah. So we see, yeah, him coming in. One of the first scenes in this episode, toward the beginning, is the baseball or softball game, which is a random thing for Luke and Dean to be playing softball because we don't really see them interact
Yeah.
that much. But Scott Patterson, who plays Luke, he was a baseball player. He was a minor league baseball player. But I was looking this up to see what team. So I did not know this about Major League Baseball teams. So apparently there's a thing called, I think it's like a farm system or something.
Oh
And
yeah, that sounds right.
so, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
that sounds right.
But so, like, there's a Major League Baseball team, and then underneath that team are multiple minor league teams, I guess, within maybe that
Uh-huh.
state or in that area, whatever. So he played
Okay.
on minor league teams first under the Atlanta Braves Major League team. So he played on minor league teams under them, and then he moved to the Yankees the New York Yankees, but
Oh,
he was in the minor leagues, but he apparently there are different levels. So he made it up to
yeah.
like the top level of the minor leagues,
That's
the
cool.
level before going to the major leagues. But yeah, so he's a pretty good baseball player. So I
You
bet
can
even
tell.
though, yeah,
Because
he has
wasn't he
those
a
arms.
pitcher? Those
Yeah, he was a
arms.
pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a short scene, but I bet it probably was fun for him to do a little bit of that, even
Yeah.
though
And maybe they
he didn't
put it
really
in there
play
for
much, but
him. Yeah. And it is
yeah.
kind of a small town thing to do. Like
Yes.
people join the softball team. There's a
Yeah. And
little
it's
just community league or whatever.
so yeah, so
Okay.
that's kind of fun. And then yeah, Rory is showing Christopher around.
And the
And
townspeople are all just excited and
yeah.
whispering about him. And then there's a debate of which actor he looks like, which actor
Yes.
Christopher looks like. Some say Brad Pitt, some say George Clooney, and then they were talking who was it Jackson who said he's like, I think it's Billy Crudup. I had to look up Billy Crudup.
Yes. And I've
But
seen
I
him in
kind
things,
of
I just
agree.
didn't know his name. Yeah. He kind
Yeah.
of looks like him and maybe a little George Clooney, like maybe just a mixture of them all. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cute, the little debate. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, who do we think he looks like?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He
he is
kind,
handsome.
yeah. He is handsome. Handsome man. Yeah. And sorry, I
I
don't know
know.
why.
I feel like when you say the word handsome, you sound
You
like
have
an
to
old
say it
lady.
in the,
Handsome.
well, he's handsome, and he is. And he is. Something that we say a lot
And he
is
is.
that Amy just came up with one day. She was like, I feel like it's like a classy older lady thing to say. And it is. And it is. Like, I say it like that. And so we would just say it, we just say it randomly. What? And it is. I can't hear
I
you.
did not make
What?
up, and it is.
Well, okay, no, I knew it was from like someone we knew had said it, like a classy older lady, but I thought you were saying it in general, like older women say that, and then we were like, yeah, it's like
Oh.
this older lady that we know.
Oh, okay.
She's like she says stuff like that, and so I didn't realize you were like, no, she specifically says this, and that's what.
Okay, sorry. Yes.
But
Okay,
okay,
yes. It's true. There was a lady that said it a lot, and I love
and
her.
so that's it's just a random thing that you're just we'll be talking. You're like, yeah, and blah 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 blah, and it is, and
It
I don't know
is.
why, and it doesn't even have to be like, yeah, it's really hard to do this, and it is. It could be like just you
Anything.
agreeing with something that you're saying. I don't even know. Just be like, I can't even think of a specific
I know. Like,
scenario,
oh,
but
it's hot today, and it is.
and it is, and it is. But anyway, that was random. But
I'm
so
sorry.
no, it's totally fine. Oh, yes. So Rory is showing Christopher around and they go to the bookstore
Mhm.
and Christopher is like, "What's the one book that you want in the world right now? Like, I'll buy it for you." Here's the thing.
Yeah,
He was probably expecting to spend like 15 to $30 on a book. Like,
right? Oh no,
right?
because it's a book. Yes, and you're like, oh, what
Yeah.
book do you want the most right now? Like Twilight or something,
Yeah,
like
and
a
she
book.
goes, "Oh, I'm really into the Compact Oxford English Dictionary, which is a giant book. Like, it's giant, it's heavy, it's huge." And he's like, "Oh, that's big." I looked up the price of a new Oxford English Dictionary, which this is in a bookstore. Bookstores are always more expensive than online. Plus, at the time,
Yes,
like, online, you weren't buying books really. But
right.
right now, like, if you bought a new one, it's like close to $500.
Oh
So
my
it's like between
gosh.
four and five
I was
hundred dollars. You can find used ones for way cheper, but like
okay,
a new
but
one
it was
that
new.
size, over five
Yes,
hundred
he was
dollars.
so no wonder his credit card got declined. Like
Yeah,
it
because like
was
he
way more expensive than he
right,
expected.
and I feel like Lorelai in the episode later, like later when she finds out, she's like, "You couldn't even buy a book without your card declining," and it's like this shameful thing. But I'm like, yeah, because he probably didn't have 500. Like he doesn't have much money because he's whatever, but he probably had some. Like he probably had enough to
Yeah, he probably
buy a
had enough to
small
buy her a
normal book.
book. Yes. So I feel
And he
like that
was,
wasn't
I'm
quite
like, that
fair.
was, yeah, no, that book is
No.
insane. And how Rory,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, but whatever. It's what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, um,
And then,
that's another
okay.
one that we say, even though that's like a common thing. It is what it is. When life is so hard and you're just like crying, and that's what we end it with. We're like, well, it is what it is. That's how
Yeah,
we
because you have to
resolve
move
our
on.
issues.
Right. You
It is
cry
what it
about it
is.
for a while. It's what it is, and then move
Yeah.
on.
Then we move on to the Friday night dinner scene.
Yes. And okay, Strobe and Francine, who acts like this? Who?
Horrible people.
They're
Horrible, like
horrible.
horrendous.
Especially him, but her too. She's just,
They're terrible. Like
they're
who? I
so
can't think of
rude.
a
Who is
word to
that
describe them.
unfeeling? And it's their granddaughter. Like to act as if
Yes.
she doesn't exist and then that she has to prove herself to them.
Yes, it's
It's
so
horrible.
sad. They're so rude. They blame Lorelai for ruining Christopher's life. This is a hill that I will die on. Is that the how you say it? I don't
Yes.
I
Yes.
cannot get over this because Christopher didn't do anything. He wasn't there. He didn't help. He could have
He
gone to
wasn't
Princeton.
being a dad. He could have
There
gone to college. He
was
wasn't
no
there.
reason. Unless he was like so ashamed of everything that he went into a deep depression and that's why he couldn't go. But like it there was no reason for him to not go to college.
Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
yes. Like you're making up a storyline, but yeah, that could have been where
Well, I'm like, well, but still, like, he had no responsibilities. And so he could have gone.
none.
He does acknowledge this later in the episode. He's like, even if you hadn't gotten pregnant, I still wouldn't have made it through Princeton, which is good on
Yes.
him. He knows.
Yeah,
He doesn't know. He has no work ethic. He was just handed things and just doesn't
right.
know, like,
Yeah,
how
like we
to
said, he
work.
doesn't know how to work and get there. And so, of course, his parents just blame Lorelai,
Yeah. Yeah, they
which
do.
it's sad because her parents kind of do too, because
Yeah. Because
they're
they
like,
act
oh,
like
if
they
you,
love Christopher, but
well, because Christopher would have gotten married, but Lorelai didn't want to. But you see
yes.
why?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't going to take care of them. Even if she had married Christopher, she would be the one keeping them afloat and taking care of them. He would be
Yes.
doing who knows what.
Another child. He would be someone
Mhm.
else she's responsible for. And I think that, yeah,
She knew
it's
that
just
even
not,
then.
yeah, she knows. He wants to be that person. He just doesn't know how to get there.
Yeah.
Um,
And eventually he kind of does. He gets his life
yeah.
together
Yeah,
eventually.
he does. Yeah. So that's good. Um, so,
And
oh
so
yeah.
they get kind of attacked by Strobe and Francine. Also, those names are so fitting. I feel like rich people always have weird,
Yes.
annoying, like
Rich
unique
names.
names that, yes,
Strobe
Strobe.
is such a fancy, weird name. And
Right.
Francine, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, he's just horrible. Also, Richard and Emily are sweet to Rory. Well, like they kind of are bragging on Rory, like, oh, she has a 4.0. This girl could talk.
She'll
But
give you
Rory's
a run for her
nervous.
money. That's actually a funny quote from Strobe when Richard's like, she'll give you a run for your money. Like, talk to her or something, and she just doesn't say anything. She doesn't know what to say, and he goes, I think my money is safe or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's just
it's
funny.
true. Which it's just sad because they put her on the spot and
She's so
they don't
nervous,
mean
yeah.
anything by it, but I've been in that situation where like someone, oh, even with my
Yeah, and
kids, like,
it's
oh, he
uncomfortable.
loves to do this, and you like almost want them to perform, you know,
And
in
they
the
don't
moment,
want
and it's
to. They're
like,
like, what?
no, they're just a
Yeah.
person. And so also I felt like Lorelai could have prepared Rory a little better for this, but there's not much to say. They're just jerks.
Yeah. Which I mean, Lorelai did kind of start the arguing because she goes, I hate President Bush or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Because she's
and they're
trying
like,
to
why?
take
Because his
the
head is too small
attention.
for his body, or his face is too small
She
for his
just like
head.
spouts off whatever comes to mind because she wants to take the attention off Rory. She's trying to like,
Yes, and it makes sense. And Lorelai just doesn't care if she's gonna
yeah,
make someone mad. And it is a
yeah.
funny conversation. And
But
and
then
it
it just gets
sparks
worse and
the
they start, yeah, then it just completely deteriorates and they start saying,
Mhm.
well, blaming Lorelai for everything and ruining their son's life. And so then Lorelai tells Rory to go out of the room, which is good. That's kind of what you would do.
Yeah.
But then anyway, it makes sense that Lorelai and Christopher end up just hooking up on the balcony because
Yeah.
I feel like it brings you back to being 16. That whole
Yeah. They're
situation, their
back in
parents
that
are yelling at them.
environment. Their parents are yelling at them. They are back in the same environment and they're like stressed and not feeling good and then they start drinking. Like it just makes sense. And
Yeah.
that would happen. And then the cutest moment though with Emily and Rory in the kitchen.
In the
It's just
kitchen.
so
Oh,
sweet
Emily
because
wins in this moment. I love her.
yeah, because she just helps Laura or Rory. Why do I keep switching their names up? Anyway, she's talking to Rory and she's trying to be like, Strobe is this respected, really great lawyer. Of course, he's a lawyer
Of
because I know very few
course.
lawyers who are not pompous.
Yes.
I'm
Oh
like,
my
did I say
gosh.
that the right way? Anyway, but so she is talking to Rory and she just tells her, like, I just makes it clear that she is not unwanted. No one regrets her existence.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah, and it's so sweet. She's not a disappointment. She's just, yeah,
yeah. None of it was about Rory and her. And it's good. Yes, that needs to be said sometimes. Like she's 16, she's at that age where you're just like,
yeah.
you
Because I
take,
think sometimes, oh, you take what? Sorry.
I don't like you just are sort of impressionable and you don't quite see it clearly yet. And so I could see her blaming herself or being like, well, nobody even wanted me.
Right.
And so I love
Because
that Emily says that.
yeah. Well, and it
And you,
feels like sometimes you forget that Rory is so young because she seems mature. But then in
Mhm.
episodes like this, you see more of how that would affect someone that age.
Yes, and how not having her dad around has affected her and stuff,
Yeah.
just all of it. Yeah. But
Sorry.
that was such a
Sometimes we
sweet
just
scene.
get so serious with like acting like it's real. Anyway,
Yes,
but
but
it
that's
is
how
sweet.
well done the show was. All the acting. Also, I wanted to compliment, well, Lauren Graham is so good always, but she does such a good job in this episode of kind of conveying how it feels when you're back with your high school friends or like when she's back with Christopher.
Yes.
She acts a little different. Like she's more loose and jokes around or tries to kind of act cool and like when
Yep.
she's talking to him you
Yeah.
get that way. Like you just kind of are more your old self or you're trying to, I don't know.
It's
It's just, I
true. Like
felt
when
like
I
she
get back
showed
with
that.
our close friends, it's like no time has passed and we talk exactly the same. Like my
Yeah,
best friend growing up, we went through this stupid phase where we would start every other sentence with the word ew. It was
we
so
all
annoying to
did.
people, I'm sure. Oh yeah, you guys did too. We're like, ew, oh my gosh, sick. It was and I'm like, what were we thinking? So eventually phased out of that. But
Okay, the
I
other
saw her.
day,
Oh,
her mom told me the other night that I remind her of her. Yeah, we all, because the people you grow up with and like go to middle school and high school with, like you
yes.
just, especially your close friends, you kind of act the same and
Yes.
talk the same. And
You
so apparently
do.
we still do 20 years
We
later.
still do. Well, last time I saw her, I said ew and sick probably 3 times, which is not a lot, but I could not believe it. I'm like, how is this happening? And it's just,
No,
but
it's
it's so
like this
fun to
muscle
get,
memory.
and it's fun seeing our old friends too, because I saw some of our other close friends like last year, I think, and it felt like
Mhm.
it was the same, like just the way we talked to each other. And I love how it brings you back to a time when we were just sillier and like
And
having more fun
carefree.
yes,
Hmm.
because it takes you back to that time and so you kind of act that way and it's just fun
Oh,
anyway.
it's so fun. And just to be with
But
people who know you is really
yes,
fun. To be
so
known. So yeah,
Then,
that she did a good job with that. So how does the episode end?
so then the next morning, Lorelai wakes up and realizes she had planned to help Luke paint the diner the night before, and instead she hooked up with Christopher.
But
It was,
okay, why does she have to say that though? Well, because Luke kind of knows because Christopher's in town.
yeah. Well, she
So
doesn't say
he says,
specifically.
but he knows he's like
He
something,
knows.
someone.
Yeah,
And she just goes, I'm a rat. I'm sorry. But
yeah.
it wasn't just because of that. It was the whole Friday night dinner and the
Yeah,
parents
which I don't
attacking.
know why she scheduled it for Friday night. I'm like, that was a dumb move. You should have done a
Yeah.
different night. But whatever.
Hmm.
And
But
then so that happens, and then Christopher is leaving. It's time for him to go. He wants to marry Lorelai though, and she's like, "No, you
yeah,
can't. We can't be married." Because
no,
she knows he's not ready to be married. He thinks
no.
that marrying her will solve all his problems, and she knows that marrying him will just bring all his problems into her life. Like, that's not,
Hmm.
yeah. So,
Right. So she has to be the grown up and say no. Even
yeah.
though part of her does kind of want to, I think, because she does love him and she does care about him. And she doesn't want to be alone.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she knows it wouldn't be right. So
Yeah.
he leaves.
And that
Um,
is that.
yeah, I think that's that. What would we rate this episode?
Hmm. I don't know. I think maybe a seven. I see
Yeah,
these last two episodes, they're just not my favorite. There are
same.
parts that I like, but overall, the episode is just, it's a seven.
Same. 7.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
fine. Okay,
All
episode
right.
16
16. This is
is
probably my
a
favorite episode out of the
cozy.
three.
Yeah, I think so
It's a
too.
cozy
It's very
episode.
much, it's a good Stars Hollow vibe episode.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
this one
called
is called.
Star-Crossed Lovers and, oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Star-Crossed Lovers and Other Strangers.
So, in this episode, we have the Firelight Festival going on in Stars Hollow, and it's this cute festival that celebrates the founders of Stars Hollow, or the people who named Stars Hollow, and it's this
Mhm.
story of this cute couple that may or may not have thrown themselves on top of a fire. I don't know. Anyway, there's some confusion with what actually
There's,
happened, but
yeah,
we don't know.
but it
Anyway,
was like celebrating their love. The festival is,
yeah.
right? And
Yes, it
Firelight.
was celebrating their love, and it's a cute, very lovey episode. I love in this episode, so Lorelai is annoyed at all the love because she's lonely and Mrs. Max,
Hmm.
and everybody's in love. Rachel comes back in this episode, so we get to meet her, and that's exciting. And the other thing that's happening in this episode is Rory and Dean are celebrating their 3-month anniversary. Also, Dean is a little bit psycho, and that's all.
He is.
But yeah, that's about it. One thing I want to comment on, so in this episode at the beginning, Dean he read Anna Karenina, so he has the book. What?
No, he did not.
I know.
Like, he's not gonna read
I
Anna
don't believe that he
Karenina.
read it. I mean, apparently he did, but yeah. And realistically,
Or
I'm like,
isn't
he's not reading that. I
no, no
have it
one's
here
reading that in
actually.
high school. Oh, show us.
I decided that
Oh,
I was gonna start it, and I am
okay.
on page 8.
Hey, that's pretty
It's
good.
actually good. So I just wanted to start it since I have it, but also because Rory says something like, he wrote for the masses, for the common man. And I'm like, is that true? And I read it and I'm like, actually, yeah. Like, this isn't a
Oh,
difficult thing to follow. Like, it's pretty good. It's just, it's a big book and there's a lot happening. Also, not everybody's name ends with ski. That is way over exaggerated. And
yeah.
or exaggerated. I feel like I over exaggerated the word exaggerated. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
anyway,
But
but
yes.
yeah. And so it's
Hey, I am impressed that you're reading it. I never
8 pages
really
in. I
got
don't know
into
why I
it.
did that. That was like a weird reflex that just happened. Me doing a peace sign. It just happened, and I
No,
don't even know why.
I love it. It fit.
No, it didn't.
Yes.
But that's okay.
But and I guess he said he was like halfway through and she tries to convince him to try it again.
Oh, he said he was
right?
halfway
Which,
through. I thought he read it. And
oh, maybe he did. Okay. But he says he
or
doesn't like it.
he
Whatever.
read it. Quite
Yeah. We don't believe he read it.
quote. And yeah.
But I can see him trying to keep up with Rory, and he wants
Yes.
to try to do things that she loves. So, yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah.
So,
But anyway,
he
he's like,
says
you need
it's
to
their
read what is oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's go on to that. I'm not gonna go into this. Okay. So go.
and he says it's their 3-month anniversary, which she didn't remember because no one remembers that, especially
I
in high
know.
school.
3 months? I think yeah,
No.
that's but Dean does
And
because
he
he's
marked it.
crazy.
It was arbitrary. Like he just marked it from the night of her birthday when he gave her the bracelet. That wasn't when they were officially boyfriend and girlfriend. So how
Yeah.
would she have known? But
Yeah.
it's sweet. Like some
Yeah.
girls would think it was sweet. I think it's a little
Obsessive.
clingy, a little obsessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
But
thing is, like, I have been a little clingy or obsessive in relationships in the past. It's something that I have steered
I'm not.
away from almost too far away. I went
Yeah.
from anxious to very avoidant. But
Yeah.
it's like something that I don't think I was ever on Dean's level. He is crazy.
No.
No, he's not crazy,
Which
but he's a little bit,
he's a little bit much, and Rory doesn't notice it right now because she's still lovey-dovey with him.
yeah,
So, but
she,
eventually she starts to pull away, which Jess
yeah,
helps with that. But we'll get to that.
yeah.
So he wants to celebrate their anniversary and have a special date. It's cute. And I love when they're getting ready, Rory and Lorelai. Anytime they're getting ready together, it just makes me happy because I love those
It's just
times.
happy. So Rory misses Friday night dinner for this, but Lorelai still has to go, and Emily decides to take this opportunity to set her up with the schwarmiest guy you could ever meet. I don't
Okay,
even know
is
what the
it
word to describe.
Schwarmy?
Schmarmy? Is it schmarmy,
Smarmy?
maybe? Smarmy. Or
Or
sweatpants.
okay, sweatpants? Oh, he's totally sweatpants. This is a term that our older brother would use, and I don't know where it came from,
I don't know.
but it was about to describe guys who are like nerdy. Okay, a certain type of nerdy guy.
Because some nerdy guys are cute. Just to clarify,
Oh yeah,
nerdiness can be cute.
the
Certain
nice like the
levels.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are levels. And sweatpants, it's like
They're a little bit of a
like
know-it-all in their nerdiness, but they're kind
yes.
of socially unaware at the same time. I
Socially
don't even
unaware,
know.
like they're not aware that they're nerdy. That's for sure. Then they're also kind of a wiener about things.
Yeah, they are a little condescending too sometimes
Yes. And
because
that
they
is
think they
totally this
know.
guy.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is a sweatpants. Schmarmy,
Yeah.
schwarmy, whatever. Smarmy? What is the word? I don't even know.
He's one of
Anyway,
those words.
he is that.
And which is so entertaining. Oh, there's one point where he reaches his hand out. Oh, is it when Emily says, "Why don't you guys retire to the study or whatever?"
Oh,
And he
yes.
goes,
And he goes,
"That sounds
shall we?
lovely."
Oh, yeah, that sounds lovely. Shall we?
Yeah.
His
And he just
face.
like, and she goes, Laura. Okay, and the whole time, Lorelai and Richard, oh, I love that Richard agrees that the guy is boring
He's,
and lame.
yeah.
He tells stories and thinks he's funny, and and Emily fake laughs because she's being nice. But Richard and Lorelai both are just like,
Uh,
annoyed,
yeah.
and Richard's like falling asleep. So then when he reaches out his hand to retire together to the study, she goes, "Oh, I'll meet you there. I'm gonna go pat her," and she grabs her purse. "I'm gonna go pat her my something," and leaves.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
line.
It's so good. And it's
Mm.
cute too in this not maybe not in this scene, it might be a little bit later. But she goes upstairs and tries to sneak out of her room and Richard catches her and she just
Mhm.
begs him to not let her not
She's
force
like,
her to go back
"Please."
down. That man is
And he,
boring. And he does.
yes,
He lets her go.
such,
And
yeah. It's a
it's a
really
sweet
cute
moment.
scene with them. It's a good moment.
Yeah.
we kind of skipped over because in the last episode they had that argument. So during Strobe and Francine's attack, Richard
Yeah.
defends Lorelai and says, like, Strobe, you can't talk about my daughter like that in this house. She's very successful in what she does. He's really sweet about Lorelai and defends her. Well, then he kind of ruins it because later Lorelai goes and thanks him and he's like, well,
Just
what
defending
did
the
he say?
Gilmore name or whatever. The
Yes,
very
like,
name was
why
being
can't
attacked.
you?
Like it wasn't,
Yes.
yeah, it
So he
just
kind of
felt
just
like,
ruined his defense
yeah.
of her. So it's just awkward between them because they had that fight.
Which
So now,
the
oh, and
thing
there's
we
another moment
forgot
with the
in this episode that's awkward, partially maybe because of that. At the beginning of the Friday night dinner,
the
Lorelai goes in and she is Richard's there and it's the figurines. She starts talking about the figurines and
oh,
then rambles on and knocks him over and it's
ah,
just like can't stop and it's so funny.
the
We talked
scene.
about this before, but it's so
Yes.
good.
Okay. Sorry. I love it. Okay. Because there's animal figurines and she knocks him over. She's awkward and nervous around her dad because they had that fight, which she's never super comfortable with her dad. Like they just aren't super close. But right now it's even more so because of their fight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good scene. Like it makes me laugh every time. And she's
Yeah.
such a good actor with the awkward scenes. I don't even know
It's so
what she
good.
said.
Yeah, it's something I just remember she knocks one over and she's like, but that's life in the jungle, I guess, or something. That's all I remember from it. It's like a
Yeah.
whole monologue. It's
And then she
so, yeah.
accidentally starts talking about like her dad and mom's sleeping arrangement or something. It's like, not
It's
that
so
I,
funny.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
that's funny. So at the beginning of that dinner, she's still awkward with Richard, but at the end, when he lets her go out the window, it's
The
just a
sweet
sweet
moment.
moment where they're on the same side. And he
Yes, it's
says, oh,
good.
she's not up here, Emily. Then he leaves.
Yeah. And then, so on the other end, we also didn't mention, so Rachel comes back. We did mention this, but because at the beginning of the episode, Lorelai's in a bad mood because everybody's in love and she hates it. Then she's at Luke's and Rachel shows up. And when she meets Rachel, she's like very awkward in this interaction too.
She's
And
kind of intimidated by Rachel. One, Rachel
yes,
is so beautiful and she knows
yeah,
that she was important to Luke,
yes.
you know.
Like Luke loved her. She's just this carefree person who has an exciting life. And so she's just
Yes.
talking about her job, and then Lorelai talks about the coffee makers at the inn, and then she's go to the next scene, and she's just talking about. She's like, I was so dumb. Like, why was I was just going on and on about the coffee makers? Like, it sounded, and I just love that her kind of replaying that conversation because it's such
Yeah.
a. I do that all the time where I say things and I'm
Oh,
like, why
all
did I
the
do
time.
that?
Like
That was so
overanalyze what you
awkward.
said. Oh, I hate, yeah. And you feel anxious
Yeah.
about it, like, oh, that was an awkward situation. Why did I say that? Yeah,
Yeah, and it
and so
just comes
that's
out, and
funny
I'm
and
like,
very
that's me
relatable.
every day, and she just for one interaction. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's cute. So Rachel's back in town. Then we go to uh, Rory and Dean's date. It's cute. They go to the restaurant, have a
Mhm.
cute dinner, sweet, and then they go to the salvage yard. Well, no, I guess
Which
they stop by the Firelight Festival, but they haven't lit the fire. So then they go to the fire or the salvage
okay.
yard.
It's really a sweet date. I would have loved it in high
Yeah,
school. Like you go to dinner, go to the salvage yard, but
classic
then
date.
but it's kind of fun to sit in like the old car.
Yeah.
And it's too much
Then
for me.
what is?
Dean,
Oh,
him
the
saying,
car.
yeah, the car is too much. Him wanting to build her a car.
That's a lot for a 16-year-old to just be like, I'm gonna build your car. You didn't have one. Okay. Does
Yes.
she need one? Like she takes the bus to school. She walks around town.
Yeah. Which I think
Like they're
all
not
16-year-olds want a car.
that's true.
But I think I would have felt a little self-conscious or something about my boyfriend building me a car. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe you would be proud of it at that age. I don't know. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
don't know. Yeah,
Like
it could
telling
be
your
kind of
parents
cool
and
if, but it feels like too much. Like it's too
it's just
much.
too
Like that
much to
is,
accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
So
little crazy, but that's Dean for you. Like we see it. That's who he is.
it feels like his whole life is about Rory,
Yeah, it really
more
does, which
so
is
than the
just
other way.
so unhealthy, but it sometimes happens when you're young. It just
Yeah.
does.
And when you're in it, it's fun and exciting. So,
Yeah, until you get too needy
uh,
to where you lose yourself completely. That's
yes.
anyway.
Yeah, that's when
But
it's bad. Okay, anyway.
yeah, so then Dean decides to tell Rory that he loves her, which is sweet,
hmm
but it's a lot for her. I think like she's really happy and she really likes Dean, but he says this. She's never said I love you to anybody. She also has, we've seen in the last couple episodes, her family life is just kind of complicated.
It's
And
just
so,
different, a little
yeah,
dysfunctional, and she hasn't grown up like she and Lorelai do say it, but not a ton to each other.
yeah. And so it
And
means a
then,
lot. And
yeah.
so his reaction is the worst,
His
which
so
it's
dumb.
okay.
But
Saying I love you is so hard, and feeling her not saying it back, it feels like a rejection.
mhm. So it's
But
understandable that he's upset because especially being a hormonal teenager and you're vulnerable and then to
yes,
not hear it back, it's understandable for a 16-year-old
yeah, and you're
to
kind of
to
dramatic.
react. hmm
Yeah. So
But it's not
it's
fair of him.
it's not fair because she's like, you have to understand where I'm coming from, and he just doesn't want to hear it because he's feeling rejected. And so
Yeah.
it's
But it is
just,
a vulnerable thing. Do you remember saying I love you the
yeah,
first time to a guy?
yeah, I said it in German because I was too afraid to say it in English.
Ah! Okay,
It
so
was
you said it
actually,
first before
yeah,
him?
well, this is what was weird. This is like a very weird, random thing. We had been dating for a few months, unofficially, I guess, and I
Mhm.
hadn't really even thought about it that much until we were on vacation, our family. Like, we had gone on vacation. I had a cell phone at this point. I was a junior. And I got a message from him. I think he was at like football camp or something. And he just
Mhm.
said a few words. And at the end, it sounded like he was like, oh, love you, bye. And I still to
Uh,
this day don't even know if it was actually him on the phone. I was like, was that somebody else? Like, it sounded like another guy in our grade. I was like, was that somebody else pretending to be
yeah.
him? And he just said, like, I honestly don't know. But then it got me thinking. I was like, oh, I think I do love him. Like, I don't, it was just like a
Oh.
sweet teenage thing, but it was funny because
Mhm.
I hadn't really thought about it until then. And so then we were talking on the phone and I was wanting to say it and I was so afraid and I kept dragging it on and it was like he knew it was coming and I just weirdly
He
decided to
did?
say it in German because I was trying to say it and I couldn't. I don't know.
Okay, so he was kind of
But
waiting for you because you wanted to say
it
something.
was so awkward. I'm
But
like,
why
why would
couldn't
I
he
try
say
to say it in another language that he
because
knew
it
what it
makes it
was?
less. Oh yeah, of course he knew German because we
Like
lived
he
in a
didn't.
German town.
We lived in a German town. Everybody, even I didn't even take German in high school, but a lot of kids in our school were. You either took German or Spanish, and
Yeah.
so even the people who didn't take German knew German because everybody was just spouting out random
hmm
things. But so yeah, that is. And then he said
Okay.
it back, and it was sweet,
He
and it
did?
was good.
Okay, why did he make you sit there? Why didn't he just say it first? I
I
know
don't know.
maybe,
I think he knew, but you don't know for sure. Like, you know what I mean? You
yeah,
don't want to just
yeah.
assume. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't the first to say it. My boyfriend, my high school boyfriend was the first to say it, and
Oh, that's sweet.
it was sweet, and I said it back, but I didn't actually really feel it that much. But
Oh,
I just kind of felt like that's what you're supposed to say. Like, because
yeah.
I don't know, like our older brothers dated, and I would hear like our older brother say it to his girlfriend in high school, and you just I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I guess you're supposed to say it to your boyfriend, even though I wasn't sure if I felt it yet. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so yeah, we would say it after a while of dating, but I didn't really know if I fully. Like I kind of did. But I also
But also it's
we
new.
would
Like it's hard to
yeah.
know for
And
sure. Like I think
your high school relationship was more serious. My high school boyfriend, we
you
would
guys
break up
fought
and
all
get
the
back
time.
together.
It was so annoying.
I know. We would fight so much and break up and then get back together and break up and get back together. It was no. But it was
Yeah.
fun. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just wasn't as serious. I just kind of with him like anyway.
Yeah.
But it's
So
fun.
yeah, it is fun to
So
have those experiences. But Dean, yeah, Dean's a little psycho and he decides to break up with Rory because of this. He's like, you don't love me. You don't want to be with me. And
yeah,
he
he like
freaks
blows it
out.
way out of proportion and so completely breaks up. Like
Yeah.
that's not what she wanted at all. And he just ends it because he's
Yeah.
embarrassed. I think,
Yep.
right?
It's,
His ego
yeah,
is hurt.
that's what it is. So then
So,
we go to the Firelight Festival. This is toward the end of the episode, and you just see the magic of the fire, the firelight.
mhm.
I looked this up because Rachel comments about how everybody's kind of different around the fire. And I'm like, yeah, fire is so relaxing. I feel like anytime I'm around a fire with people, it's just cozy and nice.
It
And I did look
totally
it up.
is.
There are studies that show that firelight and the crackling sound of the fire reduces blood pressure. It can reduce blood pressure and make you feel more relaxed. And some suggest, I don't know, I just saw this where it's like somebody suggested that it might be like because it might be like the primal part of our brain
Okay, that
like
makes sense.
hears the crackling and sees the fire and it recognizes it as safe
Yes.
because fire means you're warm and you're safe and so that
Yes,
might be
because
part
like
of it.
you're taken care of and you're provided for type of thing.
Yeah.
That is
But
cool. And it makes sense. And it's true that we are more relaxed around it.
yes.
And like the low lighting too. I feel like that's
Yes,
why
it's
people
just
love
calm.
Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Because you're in like
Yeah.
the low lighting with the Christmas
It's
lights,
the
and sometimes you'll have a
coziness. Like
fire.
yeah, I left
Hmm.
my Christmas tree up till like March or April just because for that specific reason. I would come home and
Yes.
just turn off all the lights, plug in my Christmas tree, and just like sit in the coziness. It's so cozy,
Yes. It
especially in
is.
the cold months. It's just, yeah,
I
it's
know.
nice.
Totally.
It's good stuff.
And then Rachel's there taking pictures of everybody, which is sweet.
Yeah.
Um,
And you kind of
what
see
else
her and
happened?
Luke talk a little bit. And so she's not really sure how long she's going to stay. But it's just kind of up in the air right now with them. And then the episode ends with Lorelai is home and she is calling Max. Like you hear his
Oh,
answering machine,
yeah,
and
she's been missing him the whole time.
just as it's about to beep, Rory walks into the house and says that she and Dean broke up. And so Lorelai hangs up, and that's how the episode ends. Which the next
Yeah.
couple episodes I do like. The breakup ones, I like them a lot.
Yeah. The next
But yeah,
episodes are a little more exciting.
this episode is good. I like it. I think I might give it an 8. The
Yeah,
overall feel of it.
me
It's
too.
it's the
Sorry,
Firelight.
now I'm copying your rating. I think I maybe
Such a
I'll say
copycat.
7.5. I still,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's not a crazy exciting episode. I do love the coziness of the episode. I also love
Hmm.
the awkwardness with the date
The
that Lorelai
date.
is set up on.
Oh, it's so
Also,
good.
yeah, I guess it's an 8, but I could see it 7.5 just because Dean is such a twerp. I don't
Such
know
a
what the word
whiner.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So next week.
Yeah, we have 17, 18, and 19. We are getting toward the end of that
Yeah, we're getting
season,
yes. We're getting to the end
which
of
is
the
pretty
season. I'm
exciting. So we
excited.
see more of like post breakup life, which
Hmm.
is cute stuff. I think we actually hear more from the town troubadour in future episodes, so that
I
comes up a
like
little
him.
more. So yeah, I think they're
Also,
good.
I'm excited too because we love Gilmore Girls, but we want to also like rewatch other shows too. My one friend the other night said we should do Gossip Girl. which I
Oh
love,
yeah. I I like Gossip Girl. I haven't watched it in a long time.
yeah.
So
Did you
maybe.
ever finish it? The whole series?
Yeah,
I don't think
I
I
think so.
did.
Yeah. I think I've watched it through twice, but it has been a long
Okay.
time since I've seen it.
Well, I remember at
I
that time it was like Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars, The Vampire Diaries, all those shows like
Yes, we were
aired around the
so
same
into
time.
all of those. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
they're
true.
so
I was
good.
really into Pretty Little Liars. Vampire Diaries I was into for a while and then I kind of stopped. I was just like, it's so unrealistic that there are this many hot guys in this show.
But they're vampires, so they can be so hot.
Not all of them, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess. Oh,
Anyway,
Klaus. I loved
Klaus.
Klaus, even though he's
But
evil, but then that's part of the appeal.
yeah,
Okay.
some of the shows though, I
Anyway.
do want to do the Mindy Project because I love the Mindy Project
Yes, we
and
love the
Never Have I
movie.
Ever. I is
Yes,
another Mindy Kaling show. I love Mindy
we
Kaling.
love her.
She's such an inspiration. I'm
She
so
is
serious.
like
She's
a
just such a
girl
baddie.
power. Hmm.
Yeah.
She totally
And
is.
so that would be good. Also, This Summer I Turned Pretty, maybe, and then some
Oh
movies,
yeah.
chick flicks from early 2000s
Yes,
and
and
from
yes.
our childhood, the 90s.
Yeah, we need to do some 90s chick flicks. There's so many good ones. And even like Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. That would be
Yes.
fun.
I
We have
quoted
so
a
many.
Mary Kate and Ashley movie to my some of my younger coworkers the other day, or like a week
Did
ago.
they get
And
it?
it made me so sad. I was just like, now I have to explain this whole thing. You guys don't even know Mary Kate and Ashley, which blows my mind. They were such
No.
huge icons. That's where I got like my hair inspiration as a kid.
Oh yeah, in middle school
High
or maybe
pony.
like elementary.
Yeah.
Yes. And remember for a while, like it was during the time of Meg Ryan had the hair too, where it was like super straight. Remember in Kate and Leopold, Meg Ryan's hair? Because it was like straight but kind of choppy and
And
short.
like kind of feathery. Is that what I'm thinking of? No.
And Mary-Kate and Ashley had that hair. And then they would do like
Oh, yes,
chopsticks
yeah.
in it and the
Yes, and that
clips.
was cute.
Like yours,
Yeah.
your clips that you have.
Oh, I do have butterfly clips in my hair today.
That was a
I
Mary-Kate
thought
and
they
Ashley thing.
were, yeah, thought they were kind of fun.
So
Anyway,
fun.
you can see my gray hair coming in the middle.
What? It's
Yeah,
not
I do.
gray.
Yes, it is. Look,
Well, it just looks blonde.
strands. Well,
I
why would I
can't
just have
tell.
random blonde strands that are scraggly? Anyway, it's gray.
Well, just it looks blonde and just say it's blonde. But yeah, I have a couple like
Sure,
that
I
too.
have 7 blonde strands
Scrag
in my.
Scraggly.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They're like crinkly. Anyway,
Yeah, the
um,
texture.
so that is
Okay,
that.
we're ending this. How do we end again?
This episode is over.
This episode is done.
We don't
It's
know
the
how to end
end.
it. It's the end. Good night and good
It's
luck.
weekend. What am I saying?
I don't know. All right.
Great.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.
Bye.